Hi there, Virgo. Welcome to Jive Tarot and your September 9 card. Yeah. So let's start this reading off by taking a deep look into exactly what's going on with you. I want to get an overall energy for the read, kind of get a feel to where you're at. Hmm. Yep. Strength in reverse. Okay, so with that being your overall energy, this seems to make a little bit more sense. So your high vibe card right here, if you go ahead and take a look at it, I'll read it out. The more joy you bring into your life, you first need to feel joy. By getting into vibrational alignment with the energy that is joy, to get into an alignment, physically feel joy, no matter how your present state or circumstance. To feel physically joy, think about or write a list of 10 things that bring you joy, big or small, sizes no matter. Perhaps your joy is the pleasure you feel when you're smelling flowers or the purring of a cat or going for a walk. As you build your list, really start to feel the sensation of happiness and joy bubbling up inside of you. You are not shifting into the vibrational energy of joy. You are now. Repeat several times daily, and you'll be in awe of how quickly joy begins to manifest in your life. All right, so that's your high vibe. So, although strength is in the reverse, feeling a little under the weather, feeling a little overpowered, like nothing's really going your way, or that whatever you were trying to do kind of pushed you back 2 steps, like if you were in an arm wrestling match, you know, and you're not exactly holding your ground. There also is a lot of fire energy. So with the spread shuffle and the King of Wands coming out, and more wand energy of this Seven of Wands energy defending, a lot of fire, a lot of Leo kind of energy. So I don't know exactly where it's coming from, and I don't know why it's here, but we're fixing to look a little bit deeper into it, yeah? All right, so for your 9 card, I'm going to go past, present, future, conscious, subconscious, the person or situation that you could be dealing with, the door or lesson it could be opening or teaching you, how you would have handled it in the past, and how Spirit is advising you to handle it in the upcoming. Yeah? Ooh la la. Okay. I see that there could be a new messenger or somebody bringing something into your life at the current, something that you're kind of attentive to. Maybe you find yourself in the position of a student right now and you're not really getting the lessons or they're not really coming through. Um, Man, that's not easy. That's hard. Uh, but the door that they could be opening for you or that the situation itself is opening for you is the King of Swords. Right. Good, strong energy. How you would have handled it in the past. There's that Knight of Coins. Slowly moving forward with what you've had. I notice he also has a wand in his hand. Spirit is asking you, however, to pay just a little bit closer attention. This is the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords being in reverse. There's some things that you need to stop giving focus to, so stop giving attention to, in order to release resistance or open up the, or push aside resistance to allow the new thing to come through. Sometimes old ways of thinking will get in our way and actually stop us or prevent us from learning the new lesson that Spirit is trying to teach us. See, in the grand scheme of things, it could be bringing us endless opportunities, but we're trying to fit them into an infinite box, shove it into this box of our awareness. And that's not necessarily always the case. That's thwarting or squandering universe's lesson. You've got to think bigger. You've got to think out the box most of the time. Conscious, I see the Nine of Wands. Consciously, you're a little bit maybe skeptical. And that's not a bad thing, Virgo. It's really not. A part of being the student is asking questions, questioning everything. And that's very good, actually. But in your heart and soul, your solar plexus, you know whatever that old thing was is falling away. And like there's really no other option but to go through that door, that door that just opened. Yeah, that's the door. Bottom of the deck, I do see the Five of Wands, and this Five of Wands is in the upright. This is defeat at all costs. This is tugging at you for all intents and purposes of something that you need to do. You have to succeed at this. Okay, so here we go with, right off the bat, a lesson. What I'm going to go ahead and try to tell you, for the most part, is that the more emphasis and push and drive and shove and barrel through that you put into this, the less ease and easy the transition will be, right? Also, so besides trying to fit universe's lesson into your box of awareness, number one, now you're trying to shove it in. Instead of gingerly letting the lotus unfold and open up, you're kind of screaming at it or shining the light or giving it more water. You know, the lotus is not going to bloom any faster just because you're washing it, overwatering it, and putting it in direct sunlight. It's not. Eight of Swords. Okay, so the person that you're dealing with, even though they are the Page of Wands, right? And the Ace of Coins, they are actually, how would I say, the Eight of Swords in reverse. So they are only this thing, this attentive adventurer, this adventurer on a new adventure, opening and paving these doorways or these pathways, because they have recently stepped out of self-imposed or self-implemented limitations, fears, doubts, lessons, previous lessons that they had learned. They are in and of themselves starting a new journey. So we're gonna definitely look a little bit deeper into this person and how they're coming and how they're showing up in your area, because this isn't necessarily just a situation. However, for those of you that are resonating on the situational aspect of this challenge card, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to kind of give a couple of analogies that way also, so don't feel completely left out. So this situational awareness, this opening up the box, this blooming per se, right? That you're really paying attention to yourself and your surroundings and what's actually being said. You could be extra inquisitive around this time, like really digging into Amazon books or Audibles or, you know, what have you, and looking around and kind of checking it out and seeing what kind of self-help, or I don't know, maybe it's entrepreneurship. Maybe you're thinking about starting a new business because the coin is here, right? Now, be this a person, now this is somebody that you had probably tried and tried and tried to go ahead and get to open up. Where are you? Where are you going? What are your goals? Who are you? And for some odd reason, they had a lot more reasons or excuses as to why they shouldn't tell you or couldn't tell you. But now the doors are starting to open and they're like, well, oh hell, might as well, right? Here I have temperance, patience, balance. I love the rendition here of temperance. Now, temperance, the angel, has always had two cups, card of Sagittarius. Always had two cups kind of balancing, right? This card, this deck is a lot about growth, right? About making something out of nothing, right? So these two cards are sprouting roots. These two cups are sprouting roots, right? And growing. Now, do mind the analogy earlier about the lotus blooming, right? You can't force it to bloom. You can't rush it to bloom. And you can't expect it to fit inside one specific pot. It'll fit inside that pot for a little while. And then we're going to need a bigger boat, you know? So just appreciate the slow progression of this thing before it becomes much larger than I think you can contain. Now, although in your subconscious, I'm seeing the World card, this is a card of complete cycles. Like, you know, when your soul knows when it's time to turn the page. You know, your soul knows when it's time to start a new chapter. So this is probably kind of exciting for you. And I see you're also, like, even consciously kind of standing your guard, right? Like, this is the box, I think, that we were discussing earlier. You have all these boundaries put in place. As your person or your situation had all these boundaries put in place with the Nine of Swords. Well, after a certain amount of time, they had to release some of these boundaries and limitations. Yeah, they did. Now you're in the pretty much the same spot, but through actions. You have your boundaries up. You have your guards up, you know? But eventually you're going to have to let them down. In the most recent past, you were kind of the Four of Cups. This is a refusal or an inability to see, you know? Being so distracted by what's going on in your own life that you couldn't necessarily free up time and space to actually hear what Spirit or the universe was trying to show you. They were probably flagging you down with everything that they had, you know, trying to show you something, and you really couldn't see it. So this is kind of interesting. Here I have the Nine of Swords in reverse as your advice. See, in the most recent past, how you would have handled this situation prior to, I think you would have kept pushing. Kept slowly trotting forward, kept giving water, kept giving sunlight, kept feeding the situation instead of allowing the situation to feed you. However, in your current situation with this Page of Swords, I feel that that's kind of changed a little bit, like internally even. It could have something to do with this World card in your solar plexus down here. Is that your soul knows when it's time to turn the page, right? So instead of pushing and knowing, or knowing what I'm pushing for, I'm just kind of sitting back and watching and waiting and seeing. What is it that I should expect? Could I even ever in my wildest dreams imagine what to expect? A Knight of Swords in reverse. This is also about holding our tongue. This is about not necessarily speaking our piece. And what comes to mind when I see this card in the Nine of Swords in reverse, right, is don't show a fool an unfinished project, right? Because they don't know what they're looking at. They can point out all the flaws and they can tell you, damn, they can tell you all kind of things about it. Sorry guys, I have recently, last week, caught a cold, but it prompted me to quit smoking cigarettes. So now I think my lungs are kind of purging themselves out. It is a horrendous headache. But yeah, everything's shaken up in there, so yay for me, I guess. Speaking of also, God, my temper. Whew. Jesus. Didn't know that was in there. So, the Knight of Swords is also about holding your tongue. Because whereas I'm not necessarily worried, I don't feel like I have to force it. I don't feel like I have to pace it. I don't feel like I'm in direct control of this, but I am learning from it. I am watching it. I am watching it unfold, right? But I'm not really going to speak on it as of yet because I know it's not even close to being in its final form, so to say. Just be aware of it. Just keep an eye on it. See what you can learn when you're not opening your mouth talking about things. Yeah. The Page of Swords, again. All right. So, in the most possible future outcome, correct? It's got the Lovers in reverse. And the Ace of Wands. This is an ability to take action, even though I don't necessarily feel in alignment. Now, this is crazy, right? This is like moving forward although the blindfold is on. This is actual and legitimate, the Fool card. I don't see where that next step is. I don't even feel where that next step is. All I know is I have this overwhelming urge to take that next step. I have to. It's overwhelming. And because I'm still a student, I am trusting every step that I take and still paying attention. Do you understand? I sure hope you do. Let's see what we got here. There's the Lovers in reverse. It's the Seven of Pentacles, right? I also see an end to a relationship situation. You understand? Whereas I might have needed this relationship to hold my hand or to use as crutches, right? Nobody is going my exact path, are they? Can't possibly. With the Seven of Pentacles here, there will be a time to leave your partner, your significant other, or the catalyst. So whatever you interpret this Lover card to be in your specific situation, if it is a lover, very rarely. The Lovers is more of a very, very transcendent spiritual card. Souls intermingling, less physical realm, less 3D. So if you had a husband or a wife, or you've been in a relationship, or you're in a new relationship, I'm not necessarily picking up that this thing is in danger in any way, shape, or form. I don't think that this is a spiritual calling. I mean, I don't think that this is a physical calling. You understand? I don't think it's telling you to uproot and leave your physical relationship. I think that it's calling you to open up the world and your eyes to a new way of being. You understand? The World in reverse, the Three of Swords in reverse, the High Priestess is here, and the Devil. Now here the Devil is about bondage. Oddly enough, it looks like he's standing on a heart. So the twines, the things the heart wants, the things the heart wants, the things that the heart wants, the things that you own end up owning you. Now, this is the kind of energy that I'm getting surrounding this devil card. If you want to go ahead and take a look at it real quick, it is about bondage, but it's about that soul desire, that heart's desire bondage, which is probably why when the lovers is showing up in reverse like that, I think it's a difference between what the head and the heart wants are on separate pages. You understand? What the head and the heart wants are on different levels. You understand? So what the heart wants, I'm thinking that because you're being pushed into a very learning atmosphere with the Page of Swords and the King of Swords, right? Mastering your mind and taking action on what you know to be true and what you've seen to be true, instead of following your emotions or your heart. You understand? Because that need, that want, that desire, what you think you want will get you in more trouble than just being free of what you want. Thou shalt not covet. I think that's one of them. Shall not covet. Right. There you go. Now, the High Priestess has this balance. She has the yin and the yang in her hand. Thank you very much. Right. She has the balance of perfect alignment to what is desired and what is necessary. You know, what actions, what thoughts, what is true and what is desired. There seems to be some sort of incomplete cycle here. A failure to launch. There's a possibility that, as I was saying, the person that you are, the person that is the catalyst for this change in you, correct, will not be able to accompany you throughout the entirety of it. That when you learn what you have to learn from them, what you do is you go on and become bigger, better, faster, more greater, right, than the teacher ever could have been. You get my drift? I kind of hope you are. Because it's kind of the drift that I'm getting. See, with their incomplete cycle, there's a bond. There's a bondage. There is a healing. Maybe they just could be a healer, you know. Maybe this is just a therapist that you're seeing, for God's sake, for a little bit, you know. And then once they help you realize your truths, after listening to yourself, you know, and they watch you go, you know, yeah, they're sad to see you go. That's what, like, $300 an hour? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they'll be sad to see you go. But they'll be very, very proud to see you go. Honored that you're doing better. So keep moving forward. This month of September is, I guess, for you, Virgo, is all about learning and releasing old cycles. I mean, cycles that you know are done, you know? And it's a defeat at all costs, so to say. Like, you know, you want to get this done, you have to get this done, you need to get this done, and it's been a long time coming. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Five of Wands in reverse also, along with the Five of Swords in reverse. So this is making something right, right? This isn't a flash in the pan. We're going to let go of struggle. We're going to let go of forcibly making our point or forcing things to fit where they're not going to fit. It's just best to just open up and see what can be allowed and see what we're going to allow. And then watch it kind of unfold. This is going to be about release. Now, if you remember, at the beginning of the read, your overall energy was the Strength in reverse. So you might have been feeling overpowered. You might have been feeling challenged, you know, with all these things going on around you. And it was because this Tower right here, you were clinging to an old way of thinking, a stagnant way of thinking that no longer serves you. And the reason why I keep going back to this thinking idea is because all the swords that came out, you have been coupled with this teacher. You have coupled yourself with this teacher. They say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Lord have mercy if that be the case. But I see you very, very ready and willing to take this next step. Now, mind you, like I said, I don't think that this lesson resides in the 3D realm, hardly, if at all. I don't think it's going to affect much from the 3D realm. Say, like if you had a significant other, wife, husband, children, home life, and things like that. I don't think that this is necessarily sent to disrupt that, but to enhance it, help it to grow, help it to find more peace and happiness and health. Yes? Yes. So until next time, Virgo, that's kind of all I have for you today. If you'd like to know and see more, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do hit the bell if you want to be informed next time I upload, which should be in about a week and a half, 2 weeks for your freestyle. Yeah. So Virgo, thanks for stopping by at Jive Tarot.